collaboration was a big part of that. Hey, we're keeping this kind of wild and woolly. What was the last business trip that you took, Daniel?
Yeah, so I took a trip. I actually remember I went to Spain for a few meetings because I'd already booked it non-refundable, and I had a few other clients and personnel. And I actually caught a Barcelona game right at the end of February. But my last business trip was 1 week after that. I went to Greenville, South Carolina. That's where Olivier Blanchard, one of our analysts, lives. And then we met with one of our analyst relations person, decided to do a remote meeting. I remember at the time we were all kind of like, do we go, do we not? We met in a restaurant when we got there, had dinner, went out to eat several times, went out for a few drinks. And it was legitimately something weird about when I flew home. It was only like a one evening trip. When I flew home, you could almost feel the world changing right beneath your feet.
Yeah.
This was before masks were required, but it was only days. And I think it was less than 10 days after that, my kids that were pulled out of school. And by the way, still have not returned.
That's crazy. That's crazy. My last trip, it was crazy. The week of the 11th, or the week of the 10th, right around my birthday, I went out with a bang, Daniel. On Monday, I flew to San Francisco to go to Samsung Galaxy Unpacked. Got on a plane that night and went and visited T-Mobile and Microsoft. And then got on another red eye, came back and went to visited Google on Thursday. And then I went home, finally made it home on Thursday night, which was crazy. And I had worked myself, I think, so hard. You probably remember this, but I had an issue with my eye. So it was almost like COVID and my eye issue. Where I had double vision. Where it was like, Pat, slow down, dude. You're going crazy. But that's just a long way to get to collaboration, right? Which has gotten better. And it looks like companies like Microsoft, Cisco, Zoom, Google have pulled their roadmaps in on the services front, by years. It's been pretty crazy.
It was. And by the way, I remember the eye for like weeks.
I had a patch. I had to wear a patch for about 2 weeks. I looked like a freaking pirate.
Yeah, well, it's kind of a good look for you. I'm not going to lie. Maybe bringing it back as sort of a classic look, like when we did the mustache show not that long ago. Remember that?
Yeah.
So that was pretty fun. We had a December. We didn't do Movember. We did a December mustache show. But I think I was at that Unpacked with you, and you jettisoned off from there. And yeah, I mean, there was a few more weeks for me. I braved it. I just. Again, the information wasn't really there, but yeah, you hit you hit so many things on the head. But I think what really came out of that, Pat, was, we did see a super acceleration. We saw in this year, Microsoft Teams went from 11 million or so daily users to 115 million.
Yeah.
Zoom's market valuation, shot up there where it was more valuable than the world's largest automotive companies, in just a matter of weeks and months. And Zoom went through a certain phase of becoming all the rage and then becoming everybody's problem when you had the Zoom bombings.
Yes.
And you remember having the China security issues. And that company really did come a long way, Pat, throughout the year. But WebEx, Microsoft, Zoom, 8x8, Google, like you said, they all really pushed their software businesses forward. And I think we're big winners because of it. And Amazon and AWS is another one that did that. And quietly is providing a lot of the back-end software for contact centers and communication. But, the theme too of collaboration too, Pat, was digitalization. So it was collaboration and digitalization. Was every business that could go digital had to. Every company, if you were a restaurant, could you go digital?
Right.
If you were a retailer, could you go digital? If you were an events company, could you go digital? If you were a performing arts company, and by the way, Pat, another thing that kind of happened quietly was we lost sports for a while. And I know that seems like a sidebar, but when you go from a world with sports to a world without sports, gosh, the March to June time when you had no sports, no baseball, no football, no basketball, no soccer, what a crazy sort of dystopian life it was for a period of time. But in the background, the tech industry was fueling AI, machine learning, communications, to connect businesses, to drive forward the cure for vaccines. I mean, it was like a really kind of this crazy world, Pat. But by the way, I would guess, I don't know what your guess would be, but mine would be, I had 10 times more meetings this year than a year before.
Yeah, it was crazy. My advisory went off the charts, and I used this calendaring tool, and I had 3 times more advisory sessions during COVID than I did with non-COVID. Now I don't track, I didn't track my face-to-face ones with that same tool, but yeah, it was off the charts. And, Daniel, it even got us to experiment a little bit as well. I remember talking to you on a Florida beach about this crazy idea of doing, the 6-5 podcasts where we had a bunch of different CEOs, which then led, of course, to the 6-5 Summit, which, interesting. I'm not sharing my screen anymore. Hang on a second. Little technical difficulty.
Yeah, well, while you're doing that, I mean, if you recall, Pat, what really happened was we started off doing a blitz because we thought our technology partners were doing so many interesting things. We wanted to use our platform to start telling the market about all the cool things. And I think we did 10 podcasts in one day.
We did. We did a podcast blitz.
CEOs, CXOs, and it was awesome. And then after we got done with that, we're like, you know what? That wasn't big enough. We need to be bigger and flashing it up here, buddy.
Yeah. So yeah, pretty happy. I mean, we did, I think we had 34 different speakers, headliners, Michael Dell, Lisa Su, and Doug Merritt. So I was pretty happy with that. And we definitely have to up our game this year. But again, aside from, doing a quick advertisement there, my main point was that we had to flex as well. We had to flex what we did and how we did it, and also to serve our customers.